Alright, so we got something different for you guys today. I was contacted by One Leaf, and they asked me if I wanted to do a review on their Commander NV400 Eagle 2-26x50, their digital day and night vision scope. And I told them sure, I'd be glad to do that. And so box arrived a few days ago, and so before I get into the nuts and bolts of that, just wanted to go ahead and show you everybody what's inside the box when you get it. So first thing is the manual. And we got a battery charger. And it comes with a 2-year warranty, which is nice. I've got two eye cups in there. Got a extension for something in here. I got a battery cover, 65mm battery cover. I've got two rings for attaching it. And got the scope itself. This looks like the rangefinder, since it comes with a rangefinder as well. You got the 50mm battery cover. That one says 65. So if I take that out, that's the one that comes with the gun, and then, or I should say with the scope. And then if you have one of a part or something, then the 65mm cap will go on here, extending your battery life for the scope when you're using it. Looks like most everything is on the top. You turn it on and off on that button. So that's the scope. And then we have the nighttime illuminator itself. And this one looks like it uses a 65mm as well. So same size as my part that I have. And it comes with wrenches, a number of O-rings, which probably are for all these since they seal up. And then your HDMI charging cable, and looks like an HDMI cable. So maybe for downloading your videos or whatever. So that's everything that's in the box. Let me get this all together, put it on one of my rifles, and then we'll see how she does after we get it all put together. So be right back. One other thing I forgot to show you when I had this out is the actual access for the HDMI, the USB, and the cover cap is for the actual micro card. So, and I might be saying all these things wrong what they're for, but that's where they're at. And that's the access for it. So, all right, let me get this on a rifle and we'll start playing with it. Okay, so here's what the setup looks like on my gun itself. Again, I've got this attached to my FX Streamline, and it's the one with the bottle on it, so I get lots of shots. But that's what the profile looks like. And as shown in the beginning, when I unboxed it, you know, at the front you've got your shades, and you open this when you're going to be shooting at night, so that allows more of the light to get through. And then you put this on when you're shooting during the day. Then you have your focus here, you know, far and near, right there, which of course works just like you would think it would work. So nothing there. And then this is the illuminator for at night.
It's got 3 positions, 3 clicks. You got when one light's on, it's 25%. When 2 lights are on, it's 50%. And when all 3 lights are on, it's at 100%. You have your laser rangefinder here, and then you of course have your battery for, I believe, running the rangefinder right there. And this again can be swapped out for a 65mm battery versus having the 50mm battery. And then on the side is the ports where you have your charging port, which is here for the batteries. You have your HDMI, which connects you to TV or monitor, whatever you might have set up. And then underneath it is where the SD card is. It's covered by plastic, but that's where your SD card sits. And then up on top, this is where everything happens. And you can't really see it through the monitor, but when you look through the actual eyepiece, you can click this, and that will actually change the brightness that you're seeing when you're looking through the scope. So you'll see when I hit it, you see that the brightness went down to 70, and it goes down by tens. So each time I press it, it just reduces it by 10. But unfortunately, it doesn't translate into that on the TV monitor or TV itself. So, and there, it just went back to 100, and let's put it back at the 80 mark that I was at to begin with. So that's how you adjust that. For record mode, you just push that once, and it'll let you know that you're recording. You press it again, and it'll stop. Then when you want to go from or when you want to go from daylight to starry to nighttime mode, you push this. So when I push it once, it brings up the rest of the menu, or the rest of the things for you to look at that is seen through the scope. Press it again, and there you see it comes up for starlight. And then I press it again, and now the picture changed. It's now in black and white, and I'm in night mode. And then I press it again, and now I'm back to daytime mode. So that's how you change all the modes for when you're going to shoot. And then for the physical menus themselves, that's all done here. So you can just, again, you push this down for a long press, and then your menus will come up. And then to go to the next menu, you push right here, and that will take it to the next menu and the next menu. And if you want to go back, you just press over here, and that will take you back to where you were, wherever you want to go. So that's how the bulk of all these buttons work. So I want to make sure you saw that before we started going through everything. Alright, so we're going to walk through the steps on how you set your ballistics on this scope. So again, you're going to push your main menu, a long press, and then it'll come up, and we're going to go to the ballistic parameters. So we're going to go ahead and go down to the ballistic parameters, go ahead and hit enter for those. And now we'll start to walk ourselves through the menu. So alright, so ballistic switch we leave on. Ballistic group, that's just if I'm going to choose different, have it for multiple guns, so we'll just leave it at A. The ballistic coefficient for the pellet that I'm going to be shooting, I'm going to go ahead and enter it, and that brings up the actual number I can change. So for the JSB 8.44s, I saw there was two. There's 0.019 and there's 0.021. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that down to 0.021. Or you know what? I'll split the difference. I'll make it 19. It's between 19 and 21, so I'll just make it 20. So then I'll go ahead and hit that. Change that one. The ballistic model, they say if you don't know what your model is, go ahead and use the G1. Obviously, we're not shooting bullets. We're just shooting pellets. I tried to get online to see what exactly was the difference between all these, because there's G0 through G8, as you can see there. And I can only find a G1 and a G7. So I'm not really sure what the rest of them even look like or what the differences are. But we're going ahead and leave that the way it is. And then bullet weight. Again, these are the JSB exacts, so we're going to go ahead and move that down to 8.44 grains. And you're just turning the main turret on this scope when you're adjusting this. So it's a lot of clicking here. 8.44 is what we're trying to get to. All right, 8.44. So go ahead and hold that. Held it a little bit too long, so 8.44, my initial velocity. This is coming out at 750 feet per second. So we're going to go ahead and turn that down to 750. All right. Zero range. I'm going to be zeroing it at 30 yards. It's my normal amount that I shoot. Sight height. This is, of course, the distance between the center line of the scope and the center line of the barrel. And they give you helpful hints and diagrams whenever you need it along the way. So that's also included. So we are going to go with, I measured it out. Mine is at 2.29. So I'll raise this up to 2.29. That's where it's sitting. All right, shooting angle, leaving that alone. My wind speed is usually 0 or less, since I'm sitting inside of the barns anyways. So we'll leave that at where it is. And I go to wind angle is the same. That's just leave that at 1. So now we're going to adjust the altitude. Where I live, it's 11,990 feet. So we're just going to enter that. And if you press the one button, it increases it by hundreds. So we'll go ahead and make that. We'll get it up to 11,990 feet. So $11,990 feet. So that's good. Moving on to temperature. Pretty easy. You just open your phone, put in what it is. I think that's probably right where we're probably at right now, where I'm at. Let me look real fast. It says I'm at 55 right now, so just for the heck of it, we'll change that to 55. My barometric pressure, it shows that I'm at 30.21, so change that to 30.2. And my relative humidity is at 50%. So drop this down to 50%. And again, they have all kinds of neat things to tell you what all that stuff is in the thing. So Okay, so that's it. The ballistic chart has been set up now, so I got everything in there that I want. And so with that, we'll go ahead and do a long press and save it. Alright, so to walk through the various menus, we'll go ahead and do a long press on the turret. Go ahead and bring it up, and we'll go through them one at a time. So first is the reticles. If you just push down once, it shows all the various reticles that you can use on this particular scope. So you got your regular crosshairs and various variations of it. You got a box, you got a point, and then you got a T. So those are the ones that you can do. If you want to save it to one of them, then you just short press it and it'll change to what you want, and it'll keep that in its memory then. So the shot 0 we're gonna go through in another video. I'll just do one actually of it being done. Reticle color, that's pretty self-explanatory. You get looks like 5 of them: white, red, green, blue, and black. So you just pick up whichever one you want for what you're doing. Then you have your position, which just basically tells you the position of your crosshairs. Ballistic parameters, we just went through that one. So first focal plane or second focal plane, so you can adjust the scope to whichever one you want it to do. Rangefinder, marker, align, we went through that, and we'll do another one that goes in a little bit more depth. Then you have your ISO sensitivity. I leave that at auto. And your units of measure, you can either use yards or meters. And then the screen aspect ratio, they tell you, depending on what your eyepiece is, whether or not you go 4.3, 16.9 or small. And I have the one that the 16.9 is good for. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll go on to the next menu. So advance it. So there you have your movie modes. It's set up for 4K. If you want to change that, you have, again, 5 other different ones you can do. I'm going to see how the 4K 120 feet per second goes. I'm going to shoot something in slow motion and see how that works. I'm sorry, not slow motion. I'll shoot it regular, and then I'll see how it works in slow motion to see if it picks up the pellet and what it is I want it to see. So got that. Photo resolution, you can have 48 megs, 24 megs, 12 megs, and 8 megs, and the factory was set at 12, so I'm fine with that. Movie clip time, I did go out and try to record some stuff. I think the default was 2 minutes, and I changed that to 5. So again, you just simply go up, down, wherever you want it, and I was alright with that. Auto record, it's either on or off. I currently have mine off. I just hit record when I'm ready to. Sound record is on, and so it's not real loud. I don't know exactly how close you have to be, but when I recorded it earlier, I had a hard time hearing my voice, so we'll have to play with that. Exposure, I just leave it at 0 where the factory is. Metering, I'm leaving it at that. That's you can either go a multi, a center, or a spot. Just go with the multi. And then you got brightness at 50%. And again, you see how it gets brighter inside the picture right off the bat. I'm just leaving mine at 50 right now. That seems to be plenty bright. Contrast, the same thing, moving in and out depending on what you want. And then saturation, again, don't see much of a difference on that, but it's probably because I'm just downstairs in the basement looking at a wall. So alright, we'll go to the next one. And there we have our magnification. So you can magnify it, you can adjust it to either by 0.2 or 1. Left it at 1. and you have your red dot, whether or not you want it on or off. Your button backlight, whether or not you want that on or off. LCD brightness, you can adjust that here. You can also adjust it when you're looking through the scope as well. You can adjust it. Let me see if it does it. Nope. Let me go back to the. We'll leave that at that right now, and then I'll, when I get out of this, I'll look at it again, see if I can adjust it as well outside of this menu. Picture in a picture, you know, on or off. I'll turn that off. Starry night. Right now it's on night. If I want to change that, you can change it while you're outside as well, through one of the ones on the top by the turret. Display icon on or off. I got it off. Display widgets on or off. It's on. Compass calibration, if you need to reset your compass itself. There's a neat way that you do it. You got to hold it and move it around in order for that to happen. They got a nice little menu here to show you how to do it. Move it in a figure 8, and then that will reset it. And then we got our gyro calibration, and it says here to go ahead and put it for 4 to 10 seconds in a horizontal position if you need to reset your gyro. Going to the next menu, I've got the stamp, date and logo. You have your date format, and it's your usual formats: year, month, day, or month, day, year, or day, month, year. Right now I got it on none. Then you have your clock setting, format your SD card, version card and info, and then reset it all if everything you just did you don't want. You click it one more time, you go back to the first menu. So that is all the menus that this thing has and all the different things that it can do. So alright, so we're set up here to do the zero in, so the one-shot zero. So we're going to walk through the steps on how to do that. As you can see, I have my target set up out there. It's 30 yards away, and now we will go through the steps on setting up the one-shot zero. So first thing I'm going to do is take a shot, and let's see where it lands so that we know where we got to take our zero. Alright. I'll take another one just to make sure, but it looks like it's over there to the left. Yep, I got 2 shots right there to the left. So now we'll go ahead and do the one-shot zero. So there's the zero. Alright. So now you just move there's 2 reticles. There's a white one and there's a red one. And looking through the scope, I can see the white one pretty good. So I'm going to now move the red over to where the actual shot is. So I'm going to go ahead and move that over, and that looks about right. So then you push it down, and now it's for the Y. So now I just went over to the Y, whereas I was on the X, and now it goes over to the Y. And now we'll just raise that up to where it needs to be. So lining up my zero again, lining it up. looks pretty good. So now I'll just hold that down for a long and press one more time. Alright, successfully saved. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get out of that, and now let's take our next shot and see how well we did. Alright, that's at 32x. We'll drop it down to 28. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's nice. 30 yards, and there it is. All right, so that's how you do the one-shot zero on the NV400. Looking at the magnifications from 30 yards, we have 2, now 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, and 26x. And again, that target is at 30 yards. All right, taking the scope out for some nighttime vision checking. Put on the rangefinder, spot a rabbit at 32.5 yards from what it shows. And just running through the magnifications to see at what point does it get overly pixelated versus not pixelated, and how fine of a detail you can see. And currently the illuminator is at 25%, so I'm going to go ahead and check it at 50% and 100%. So that's 25, here's 50, and here's 100. So at 100, the hair on the the hair on the rabbit got a little bit better detail on it. But for the most part, when you go above, say, 14x, it starts to get pixelated. But it's up to you on how close you want to get. The green dot in the center, that's the compensation. Since I did range finding, it automatically comes up. And since the rabbit's at 30 yards, it's showing me that all I have to do is just hit it straight on, since that's what I zeroed it in at. Checking these two rabbits over here to the left that I saw earlier as well. Go ahead and range find that. And these guys are at, what's it show, 30, 31 or so, 32 yards. And the other one's at 34 yards. So, again, the yardage will show up in the recording at the top right-hand corner. Not sure if that's real clear, but that's where it's at. So, just wanted to let you see exactly what kind of clarity you get, what exactly it does as you zoom in and zoom out, and what it looks like, or what you can expect it to look like through the eyepiece itself. So wanting to see how the ballistic coefficient compensator works, going ahead and setting this up. The target's at 50 yards. If you remember, I set it up at 30 for my 0 point. So right now I'm dipping it down to where the rangefinder works to find out what the distance is. And again, I have that at 50 yards. So now I'm going to head zooming in so I can see the target a little bit clearer. And then I'm going to, you see I'm aiming high, which is according to what that little green compensation is that it shows when you go to shoot. So that's the first shot. That looks pretty good. It's almost in the center. That's not too bad. Go ahead and take a second shot. And of course, this only happens when you're recording. And go ahead and have to hit it again. And the second shot doesn't look too bad from the first. Go ahead and take the third shot. Now let's zoom in a little, and yeah, that looks pretty good. They're right next to each other, so it looks like it works pretty well. So pretty happy with that.
All right, so I wanted to give my final thoughts on the One Leaf Commander NV400, the 2-26. Overall, the scope functioned flawlessly. There were no issues with it. It basically did everything they said it would do. I tried out the various functions that it allows you to do, as you saw in the video. So technically there's no issues. You know, this unit, the way it sits with the rangefinder, weighs 3 pounds. If I add the illuminator to it, it now weighs 3.6 pounds. That's a lot of weight on a gun. Doesn't matter what kind of gun you have. Most guns weigh between 6 and 8 pounds. You add another 3 to 3.5 pounds on top of that. That's not something you're going to carry around in the field. You're not going to want to carry around in the field. And so for the testing that I did, it was all on bench, you know, sitting on a bench or sitting on a sticks. So that was fine. But as far as being a thing that I would want to carry around in the barns for an hour or two, that's not going to happen because this is just too heavy. The illuminator worked well, as the video showed, so that was nice. And again, the whole system itself is fine, but you'll have to decide whether or not the weight is going to be an issue for you. So as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave any comments or questions below.